Hey, beautiful. I was very stupid as a teenager. I'd just like to point that out from the start. And when I look back at what I did as an adult, I wish I could reverse my actions. As a teenager, I had a bad habit of sneaking out at night and going to any parties that were happening that night. I liked everything about going to parties. Guys, alcohol, everything was great. I liked to loan my best friends clothes as they were usually very revealing, leaving little left to imagination, in return giving me a lot of the guys' attention there. There's one encounter that I still remember to this day. It was another typical party to me. Alcohol, guys flirting with me, but there was this one guy in particular who gave me the creeps. He wouldn't do nothing more than just stare at me, yet it still creeped me out. Something about him seemed off. His eyes looked like he wanted to eat me up on the spot, making me feel very uncomfortable. After a while, I got tired of his staring, and I decided to leave. I told my friends that I was leaving, and she just nodded, already being occupied with some other guy. I put on my jacket and quickly left the party. I put on one of my headphones, leaving one out, as I knew how dangerous it was for a young teenage girl like me to be out so late. I suddenly felt eyes burning into my back. I quickly looked behind me, and there he was, in all his glory, grinning at me. I was really beginning to grow afraid at this point, as he still wasn't saying anything, only grinning at me and looking me up and down. I started moving backwards, and so he started moving forwards. He was getting closer and closer with every second. I slowly took out my pepper spray from my purse so I could be ready if he would try something. The next words he said will forever be stuck in my mind. Hey, beautiful. You're very hot. Wanna have some fun? I didn't hesitate a second and let him taste some of my pepper spray. Before I broke into a run, I could hear him cursing behind me, but I didn't care. All I did was run and run until I got home. I didn't sleep the rest of the night, just in case, keeping my guard up. But luckily for me, that was the last time I ever saw him. And I took a quite big rest from parties before I had the courage to go to any parties again. This incident ended luckily for me, and I'm glad that we haven't had to see each other again, party creep. Walmart parking lot guy. I've read a lot of Let's Not Meets, but this is my first time making a post, so please bear with me if I drone on, but I would like to set an accurate scene. This story took place when I was 19. I was a year into my community college life, and paying it off little by working at a part-time job, but I hadn't had a boyfriend in a while. My mother, who was good friends with the woman who did our nails, would often talk about me to her. Soon enough, the nail lady had formed a solution by trying to hook me up with one of her other clients' son. My mother humored me to this idea by saying that I might be able to get a free meal out of the deal, an appealing offer for a college student, and so I saw no reason not to go along with it. So I dolled myself up because, even though I wanted it to be a casual encounter, I still tried to make myself appear nice, to make my date feel proud to be seen with me. I just take this as a common courtesy for all dates unless there was a prior agreement. It was nothing too fancy, a pair of nicely fitted jeans and a lacy cream-colored top under, a figure-flattering maroon hoodie with a flower print, and some snow boots. It was late in the fall and I live in a place that gets snow pretty early. My makeup, though, I don't usually wear a lot, and just enough to flatter my face, and my hair was in neatly placed curls around my glasses. The date went pretty well, and while he wasn't exactly the type of guy I would personally find attractive, he was still a real funny and good-looking guy. Despite that, we said our goodbyes, and I headed on my merry way back home, which was about 30 or so minutes away from the restaurant. While on my way home, I remember that my headphones had broken earlier that day. One side refused to work, which I find incredibly irritating. And so I glanced at the clock and noticed it's just past 11:30 at night. Not too many places were open after 11 except for the Walmart that was on the road that just so happened to lead to my house, approximately 20 minutes away and en route from the restaurant. I had been in this particular Walmart with my family a lot, due to it being the closest to my house. I live in a subdivision on the edge of a small town surrounded by farmlands, and other small towns. But this particular Walmart was situated just on the shoulder of an intersection that led right to the interstate, and so it was easily accessible by both the in-town folks and people just passing through. So I pulled into the parking lot and wedged my car between two other cars at a spot that is fairly close to the front, yet also a little off to the side. Eager to get my errands over with, I pull out my purse, lock my car, and start making my way through the dark parking lot and to the illuminated entrance at the front. Passing through the handicapped section that was mostly barren, save for one small red car, I noticed the driver, a 35-plus looking, large, bulky man with a red plaid shirt on and huge meaty fingers gripping the steering wheel in total silence. I noticed the car did not have a handicap sticker, but the driver was present, so I just assumed he was waiting for someone to come out and wanted a parking spot close to the entrance so he could see them come out. I thought no more of it, but decided to give him some space, so I gave the car a wide berth when trying to pass. And then I heard him call out to me. I looked over to him, and he waved me over to his car, and after a brief pause, to ask is that he was in fact talking to me. It was a pretty well-deserted parking lot, but I didn't know this man, and I had no idea as to why he would want to talk to me. I took a few small steps towards his car, but carefully kept at least 9 feet of space between us. With me being 5'5", I could judge for a fact that this man had at least a foot on me, if not more, and I wanted the space to get behind the car should he decide he wanted to get out of his. I rotated the keys in my hand so that the key blade was poking out between my forefinger and thumb. "You sure are beautiful," he begins slowly. "Oh, thank you," I say, not trying to be rude but eager to go inside. "Do you know which way the interstate is?" he asked me. And to me, this is the weirdest question he could have asked me, because he was literally facing towards it. It was in his line of sight. He had to either have just came from it, or he was a local and neither would ask a question like that because both would know the answer. And his eyes never left me. So with proverbial raised hackles I answered him. "That road right there, that's it." And I gestured with my free thumb. "Just go back out the parking lot and over the pass. Left side goes to the capital city and the right goes to the next state." "Oh, thank you, miss," he says, and then he takes a moment to pause, eyeing the space I had so carefully set between us. "You sure are beautiful," he says again, even slower, as I feel his eyes crawl across my silhouette, and I suppress a shudder as I see him bite his lip and move his hands lower over the steering wheel. I should get going before the store closes. I interrupted him. A lie. I knew the store was open until 3, and any local would know that. But that seemed to shut his mouth, and I take that as my dismissal and turn on the balls of my feet, picking up my pace until I'm in a well-illuminated area, and then I hear the automatic doors close behind me. I take a bit more time than necessary retrieving a cheap pair of earbuds from the electronics section and paying at one of those self-service stations, deciding that coming out of the way I came in was the last thing I wanted to do. Before going back out, I peek my head behind a wall to check to see if his car's still there. It is, and he's still staring at the entrance where I went in, with his engine still running and his fat fingers drumming against the wheel. Thoroughly creeped, I think about his question to me about the interstate and just how close we were to going across state lines, and just how late it was at night, and how royal the area was. I decided I most definitely don't want to have another encounter with this man, so I zipped my hoodie up fully so that nothing on me reflect any light. I put my hoodie on and casually walked my way towards the nearest row of cars, ducking slightly behind the nearest one, not quickly enough for the movement to catch his attention in the rearview mirror, but enough so that I'm difficult to see if he did look. I weave through the row, down a ways away from him, and cross the road and back up towards my car. I make it to my car and peel out the other way. The entire 20-minute ride home, I check behind me every so often to make absolutely sure I see no headlights in my rearview mirror. Eventually, I make it home. I lock all the doors, throw the earphones on my bed, and pass out under the covers. Creepy guy from the Walmart parking lot. I don't know what your game was, but I am sure glad I wasn't a part of it. So, please, let's not meet again.